Welcome to another video of the Daily Stoic Dose. As usual, for providing best Stoic content, show some love. Please subscribe and share this channel for more. Have you ever noticed how the harder you try to be loved, the faster love seems to slip away? Have you ever lain awake at night replaying conversations, wondering what you said wrong, why her energy suddenly changed, or why the woman who once laughed at your messages now responds with cold silence? What if I told you that the secret to making a woman emotionally attached isn't in doing more for her, but in needing her less, needing her approval, her reactions, her constant attention? Think back. Maybe there was a woman who meant everything to you. You adjusted your schedule for her, replied instantly to every message, tried to be flawless, and yet something always felt off. The more effort you put in, the less attraction you seem to get back. Now, pause for a second and ask yourself, was it love she lost, or was it respect? Marcus Aurelius, one of the most commanding men in history, ruled an empire under betrayal, uncertainty, and unrelenting pressure. Yet in his personal journal, his meditations reveal something far deeper than power: emotional mastery. And here's the uncomfortable truth most men never hear: women are not addicted to attention, validation, or chasing. They are drawn to emotional stability, calm confidence, and presence, the very qualities Stoicism cultivates. In this video, I'm going to share 5 Stoic principles, grounded in female psychology, that don't rely on manipulation, begging, or desperate chasing. These principles work because they are ways of being, not tricks. When you embody them, her behavior shifts naturally, without you forcing anything. Before we dive in, do yourself a favor: subscribe to Stoic Daily, like this video, and watch until the end, because what you're about to learn won't just change how women see you, it will change how you see yourself. And that shift alone can transform your entire love life. Point 1. Master your emotions. Don't let desire drive you. Let me take you into a memory from my own life. There was a time when one single message from her could completely dictate my day. If she replied quickly, I felt alive, confident, almost invincible. If hours went by without a word, my chest grew heavy, my mind spun stories of what I'd done wrong. I pretended not to care, but inside, I was drowning in neediness. If you're listening, maybe you felt this too. Have you ever waited for a text like it was a verdict on your worth? Felt your mood swing wildly depending on her attention? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." At that time, I hadn't realized it yet. I had surrendered my power in my love story. I didn't lose her because I wasn't trying hard enough. I lost her because my emotions were no longer mine. I reacted to every pause, overanalyzed every shift in tone, and let anxiety dictate my behavior. And here's the raw truth of female psychology: women sense emotional dependency far sooner than men admit it to themselves. I remember one night vividly. I sent her a simple, honest message. Hours passed. Silence. My mind raced. Fear, doubt, desperation crept in. And that desperation leaks. It leaks in your words, in your energy, even in the pauses themselves. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, war, plague, and loss. Yet he disciplined his mind, reminding himself daily to remain calm and grounded. If an emperor could do that under life or death pressure, why do we let a single unread message make us crumble? Here's the Stoic secret: when you master your emotions, you don't become cold. You become safe. A woman doesn't get drawn to a man who reacts to everything. She's drawn to the man who stays steady amid uncertainty. Imagine this: she pulls back slightly, and you don't panic. You don't chase. You continue your day. Your voice remains calm. Your self-respect stays intact. That steadiness becomes magnetic. Think back: when did you feel most attractive in past relationships? Was it when you were anxious, desperate, or when you were calm, centered, and in control? Stoicism isn't about hiding emotion. It's about reclaiming it. And the moment you do, you stop begging for love and start becoming unforgettable. Point 2. Have a life she can enter, not one that revolves around her. Let me share another story that might hit home. I knew a man, or maybe it was me once, entirely captivated by a woman. Every evening, he cleared his schedule. Every weekend, plans with friends or personal goals were put on pause. He believed availability equaled devotion, but slowly, she pulled back. Seemed distant. Irritated at times. And he couldn't understand why. Ask yourself, have you ever felt this? That no matter how much effort you give, it's never enough. That the harder you try to be present, the less present she becomes. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. The lesson? Distress isn't caused by her actions, it's caused by giving away your power. By letting your life revolve entirely around her. I learned this the hard way. I canceled plans. I postponed projects. I ignored personal passions. Thinking that giving more would make her stay. But female psychology is wired differently. Women are attracted to direction, purpose, and vision. She wants to join something meaningful, not consume a man who has no other priorities. Picture this, she texts you to hang out. Instead of dropping everything, you respond, I'd love to see you, but I've got something I need to finish. Let's plan for later. That simple boundary signals strength and independence. It says, I have a life, and you're invited to be part of it. When you live a life full of purpose, she doesn't feel suffocated. She feels intrigued. She feels magnetically drawn to a man whose world is larger than just her presence. Moments you share become more meaningful, more memorable, and her investment in you grows naturally. Reflect on your past. When were you happiest in a relationship? When you felt consumed by her? Or when you were fully living your life, letting her fit in naturally? That is the Stoic path, building a life worth living, regardless of anyone else. And when a woman sees that, she doesn't just want to be with you, she wants to stay. Point 3, speak with intention, not explanation. Here's a moment from my love story that changed everything. She asked why I hadn't been around as much. I panicked. I over-explained. I typed long paragraphs justifying my actions, proving my love, my care, my worth. Do you know what that did? She felt overwhelmed. My uncertainty shone through. My confidence wavered. Ask yourself, have you ever done this? Tried to explain every little action or emotion, hoping your words would make her understand, stay, or forgive. The more you explain, the more you reveal doubt. And women feel it instinctively. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Stoicism teaches that actions outweigh words. You don't need to defend your choices. Your life, your calm, your presence, these are proof enough. I learned this the hard way. After another frantic message, she replied politely, but distantly. The lesson hit. Over-explaining pushes people away. The breakthrough came when I simplified my communication. One sentence could say everything. I can't today, but let's meet tomorrow. No panic, no over-justification. Just clarity. Just presence. Women are drawn to men whose words mirror inner steadiness. Speaking with intention signals, I am steady. I am in control. I am a man of my word. Think back, when did you feel most attractive? When you were over-explaining or when your words carried weight and certainty? Speaking with intention isn't being cold or distant. It's calm, measured, and purposeful. Let your presence do the talking. Your words reinforce it. And when you master this, women don't just respect you, they become emotionally invested. Point 4, accept loss. It makes you unbreakable. Let me tell you a story that may feel painfully familiar. There was a period in my love life where I lived in constant fear of losing her. Every pause in her messages, every subtle shift in tone, felt like a threat to my happiness. I tried controlling her feelings, predicting her reactions, planning everything so she would never leave. But the harder I clung, the weaker I became. Slowly, without realizing it, the fear of loss leaked into my energy, my words, and even my body language. Ask yourself honestly, have you ever felt that crushing anxiety when someone you care about seems distant? When it feels like your world depends on them staying? That isn't love, it's dependency. And here's the cold truth, women sense it immediately. Fear disguised as love is repelling, not attractive. It creates pressure, obligation, and a strange imbalance in the connection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away." He understood that life is fleeting. People come and go. Attachment is a choice, not a guarantee. Happiness is not owed by another person. In my story, the turning point came the day I stopped clinging. I acknowledged that if she left, it would hurt, but it wouldn't break me. I focused instead on my values, my daily life, and cultivating inner calm. I stopped reacting to every pause, every subtle shift in mood, and paradoxically, this acceptance made her feel safe. She realized I wanted her, yes, but I didn't need her. That shift in energy changed everything. She was drawn to a man unafraid of uncertainty, a man who could love fully without losing himself. Think back to your own love memories. When were you most confident in a relationship? When you were desperate to hold on, or when you loved without fear and let the connection breathe? Acceptance of loss is not coldness, it is freedom. It is the unshakable strength that anchors your presence, creating a magnetic energy that women feel. In Stoic terms, loss is not a threat, it is a teacher. And the man who internalizes this becomes irresistible, not through force, but through the quiet, steady power of acceptance. Imagine this: she pulls away for a few days, but you remain composed. You continue your life, your goals, your passions. Your energy radiates calm, stability, and confidence. That is magnetic. That is the kind of emotional gravity that keeps her thinking about you even when you're not around. Point 5. Be consistent, not intense. Now, let's talk about a mistake most men make in relationships: confusing intensity with attraction. I learned this the hard way. I thought passion and grand gestures would secure connection. I sent long, heartfelt messages, showed sudden bursts of energy, planned over-the-top dates. At first, she was impressed, maybe even thrilled, but over time, something shifted. The highs were electric, but the lows were confusing. She became unsure, distant, sometimes frustrated. That roller coaster of emotion might feel exciting, but it doesn't build lasting attachment. Ask yourself, have you experienced this? That relationship where moments felt fiery and thrilling, yet emotionally unstable. That unpredictability creates temporary excitement, but not deep emotional investment. Women are wired differently. They are attracted to emotional reliability, not drama. They notice patterns over bursts. Excitement is fleeting. Consistency is enduring. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Translated: for love, instead of chasing short-lived intensity, focus on steady, disciplined presence. Show up as the man you aspire to be every day, without letting moods, anxiety, or fear of loss dictate your behavior. In my story, the transformation came when I stopped trying to impress her constantly. Instead of highs and lows, I became steady, calm, confident, and present. I communicated honestly, honored my word, and let actions, not bursts of emotion, speak. The result: she began leaning in naturally. She trusted me. She relied on my consistent presence, not just my excitement. Pause for a moment. Reflect on your own experiences. When did you feel most connected to a woman? During wild, intense moments, or during calm, reliable ones when she knew she could count on you? Consistency is not boring. It's predictable reliability. It makes her feel safe, respected, and valued. That calm, unwavering presence is magnetic in ways intensity can never be. Bringing it all together, the Stoic approach to being irresistible. Now that we've covered the 5 principles, let's tie it all together. Master your emotions. Don't let desire dictate your reactions. Your calm becomes magnetic. Have a life she can enter, don't revolve around her. Purpose and direction attract naturally. Speak with intention. Let your words reflect your steadiness and self-mastery. Accept loss, love fully, but without fear. Emotional independence is magnetic. Be consistent, not intense. Show up reliably, day in and day out. Trust, respect, and attachment grow from this. Here's the underlying principle: women aren't addicted to attention, dramatic gestures, or desperate chasing. They are drawn to a man who embodies self-mastery, emotional stability, and steady presence. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about attraction, but he wrote extensively about discipline, emotional resilience, and integrity. These same qualities are what make a man irresistible in the modern world of love and dating. When you embody these principles, you stop chasing love. Instead, you become the kind of man who naturally commands attention, respect, and deep emotional investment. Take a moment to reflect on your own relationships. Where have you given away your power? Where have you reacted instead of responding? Where has inconsistency or fear held you back? Even small steps toward emotional mastery, purposeful living, and intentional communication transform your presence and your love life. Call to action. So here's what I want you to do today: commit to practicing these Stoic principles in small, deliberate ways. Observe your energy, your responses, and your interactions. Notice the difference when you stop chasing, stop over-explaining, and stop reacting to every shift. Subscribe to Stoic Daily, hit the like button, and share this video with a friend who needs this wisdom. Watch it again, take notes, and implement one principle at a time. Consistency here is key. Remember, becoming the kind of man who inspires love is not about manipulation, tricks, or grand gestures. It's about steady, unshakable presence, emotional mastery, and living a life worth inviting someone into. When you start living this way, love stops being a chase. It flows toward you naturally. And that, my friend, is the Stoic path to irresistible attraction, reinforcing the Stoic principles. By now, you've learned 5 Stoic principles that transform your approach to love and attraction. Master your emotions, stay grounded and calm, no matter her reactions, have a life she can enter, live with purpose, invite her into it, don't revolve around her, speak with intention, let your words carry clarity, confidence, and emotional steadiness. Accept loss, love fully without fear, and know your happiness is not dependent on her. Be consistent, not intense. Reliability and steady presence are far more magnetic than bursts of drama. These aren't abstract ideas, they are ways of being. When internalized, they shift your energy, your presence, and the way women experience you. Imagine this: a woman observes your calm during uncertainty, your focus on your purpose, your deliberate words, and your unwavering consistency. She doesn't feel pressured, manipulated, or overwhelmed. She feels drawn, safe, and deeply emotionally connected, without you having to chase, explain, or beg. That's the quiet power of Stoicism applied to modern relationships. A story that brings it all together. Let me take you into one final real-life example from my own journey. There was a woman I cared deeply about. In the past, I would have panicked at a delayed text, over-explained myself, or cancelled everything to see her. But this time, I applied what I'd learned. I maintained inner calm despite her distance. I continued my daily goals and commitments, making space for her rather than revolving around her. I spoke clearly and with intention, letting my words be measured and meaningful. I accepted the possibility that she might not feel the same, and I embraced the uncertainty. I stayed consistent, showing up reliably but without dramatics. The result? The connection changed. She leaned in naturally, invested emotionally, and showed interest, not because I chased her, but because my presence, steadiness, and purpose were magnetic. This is the difference between men who desperately chase affection and men who inspire it. It's not about grand gestures, clever tricks, or over-the-top passion. It's about mastering yourself and letting that mastery create natural attraction. Why most men fail? Think about it. Most men approach relationships from a place of need, fear, or desire for validation. They over-communicate, over-commit, and overreact. They give attention to get attention, love to be loved. But here's the Stoic truth: love is not a reward for effort, it's a reflection of presence, purpose, and character. Women are wired to notice patterns, energy, and emotional stability long before words or actions alone can convey them. When a man reacts to every shift, he becomes predictable in the wrong way, dependent, anxious, and, ultimately, less attractive. When a man embodies Stoic mastery, he becomes a force of calm and stability. His life is full, his presence is steady. And his words carry weight. Women notice. They respect. They invest. And they stay emotionally engaged, not because of chasing, but because of magnetic, unshakable energy, the mindset shift that changes everything. Here's the final, crucial insight: you don't need to win her over by trying harder, you win her over by becoming the man who doesn't need to be won over. That's a mindset shift. That's the difference between reacting to love and being the source of love and stability. When you embody this, attraction stops being a game of effort. It becomes a natural consequence of who you are and how you exist in the world. Imagine a woman thinking about you when you're not around, not because you chased her, but because your energy, confidence, and purpose drew her in effortlessly. That is Stoic attraction. That is emotional gravity. That is the kind of man women can't stop thinking about, and yes, it starts entirely with you mastering yourself. Practical steps to implement today. You might be wondering, okay, this all sounds great, but how do I start? Here are 5 immediate actions you can take. Observe your emotional reactions. Notice when you're reacting to her messages, tone, or distance. Pause, breathe, and reclaim control before responding. Schedule your life around your goals. Commit to your passions, career, hobbies, and friends. Let her feel invited to join your world, not control it. Practice intentional communication. Speak in short, clear, confident sentences. Avoid over-explaining or justifying yourself. Meditate on acceptance of loss. Remind yourself daily that attachment is a choice, not a guarantee. Embrace uncertainty and remain grounded. Focus on consistency over drama. Show up every day as a steady, reliable, calm presence. Let your energy speak louder than bursts of passion. Start small. Pick one principle to implement this week. Notice how your confidence, attraction, and emotional stability start to shift. Then add the next. Build momentum. Transformation comes in small, deliberate steps. One last story before we finish. A man I knew, let's call him Daniel, used to chase love desperately. Every text, every hangout, every subtle change in tone sent him into panic mode. Women felt the pressure. They pulled away. Then he discovered Stoic principles. He mastered his reactions, focused on his purpose, and stayed consistent. Slowly, he stopped chasing. And the women who once felt distant started leaning in naturally. His energy changed everything. That's not luck. That's intentional mastery. That's Stoicism applied to relationships. When you embody these principles, love flows toward you instead of away from you. Attraction becomes effortless. Respect becomes automatic. Emotional attachment develops naturally. So here's what you do next: subscribe to Stoic Daily if you haven't yet, like this video to let others know this content matters, share it with a friend who needs to hear this Stoic approach to attraction, implement at least one principle today and observe the shift in your energy, presence, and relationships. Remember, you don't need to chase love, beg for attention, or prove your worth. You become irresistible by mastering yourself, living with purpose, and maintaining steady, calm presence. Let Marcus Aurelius's wisdom guide you. Self-mastery, emotional resilience, and unwavering consistency create the kind of man women respect, desire, and invest in emotionally. Be that man. Not desperate, not reactive, not needy. Steady. Unshakable. Intentional. And when you do, love will no longer be something you chase, it will come naturally to you, drawn by the quiet, magnetic power of who you've become.